we shall use the US as an example of the military-industrial complex. The US spends around $800 billion a year on a defense force. Of course, this is sold to everybody as being in their highest of interest, protect freedom and democracy, which you don't even have. And without this huge defense force, which, by the way, costs more than the next 10 countries combined on their spend of military every year, that's more than Britain, France, Russia, China, and a host of other countries combined every single year. For a country that is surrounded by water and has a huge military might that is not going to get invaded or attacked, and it has more than enough force to defend itself. Well, you're told it's for freedom, it's for democracy. Look, it's all garbage. It is about getting you to part with your money yet again. If you research the Californian tank deserts, where there's just tank after tank, perfectly fine, they've just been put there as in a graveyard, because these things don't have to get used. All that has to happen is you have to be persuaded to part with your money, or Congress. But the politicians are, as we know, funded by these big corporations. So it's a really simple matter of funding the politicians, funding the political parties, and then lobbying to convince them that yet again, we need to spend in the US hundreds of billions of dollars on the military. And this whole industry revolves around the conquering, sometimes covertly nowadays, rather than overtly, behind the scenes, of other nations taking their resources to increase power. That's how it all works. The whole Iraq War was about that. As an example, there was the big lie in the media machine of weapons of mass destruction, and then we went in, over 1 million Iraqis were killed because of that invasion and the economic sanctions, economic terrorism that followed. And it was all about taking the oil and also rebuilding the country and giving those contracts to Western corporations. That's what it was all about. Everything else was a lie. And it was sold to you as, oh, freedom and democracy and these poor people, etc., etc. Well, Iraq got a whole lot worse after the West intervened. So there's a whole industry based around this. It is an absolute monster, and it controls everything within our society. I mean, it is huge. Yes, we need a defense force. Yes, I think every country has the right to defend itself and needs troops, but not to the excess that we are led to believe. The UK, another great imperial power, similar thing. 3 billion on 2 aircraft carriers. One of them, I think, is breaking down continually, can't even get out of port. We do not need these things, and your money does not need to be spent on them in the excess that it is. Why? Because guess what? People don't want to have wars with each other. That's the truth. I've traveled the world. People are just like you and I. They want to live, enjoy their lives with their families, and be free. They don't want to go to war with anyone else. It's not what the media would have you believe. The media wants you to believe that you're under attack. There's threats everywhere. Fear, fear, fear. Arm, arm, arm. War, war, war. It's all for power and money.